Here are some helpful tips for your Korky Toilet Fill Valve in the event that it is not filling the tank or filling slower than normal. First, ensure that the water supply valve is turned completely open and that the supply line is free of kinks. If the supply line was kinked or if it was necessary to turn the water supply open, flush the toilet to observe the water flow. If this was not the problem, turn the water supply off. Pinch the refill tube here and cover here. This is to ensure the cap on the valve is completely tightened. After pinching, turn the water supply line on and flush to see if the valve is working properly. If this does not improve water flow, turn the water supply line off and flush to empty the tank. Make sure to hold the valve firmly through all steps so it does not get turned out of the lock position. Next, remove the refill tube. You may need to twist slightly. Pop off the cover by placing your thumb under the tab and lifting off. Tap on the float arm to ensure the float is moving freely and that the arms are securely latched onto the cap assembly. If it is not moving freely, it may be necessary to grab the cap assembly refill port and twist the cap clockwise. Remove the float assembly by pinching the two arms together and lifting up. Next, remove the cap by twisting counterclockwise. Now remove the supply tube from the valve and pull the white strainer out of the supply tube. Then, rinse it in water. Make sure the strainer is fit securely into the supply tube. Now, reassemble the valve. You may need to move the supply tube back and forth to fit it back into the valve. Now you can place the cap on by twisting clockwise. When placing the cap on, start from the 3 o'clock position, push down, and then turn it as close as possible to the 5 o'clock position. Then, place the float onto the cap assembly. Tap on the float arm to ensure the float is moving freely and that the arms are securely latched onto the cap assembly. Then, snap on the cover. Put the refill tube back on and pinch the tube and cover to make sure the cap is completely tightened. Make sure the valve is still in the locked position. After reassembling, turn the water supply back on to test water flow. If cleaning the strainer does not solve the problem and you have a flexible water supply line, turn the water supply line off, disconnect the supply line from the fill valve, and place the end into a bucket. Slowly turn the water supply line open. If there is still little to no water flow, there is likely a restriction in the water supply line or a problem with the incoming water supply. If you need further assistance, please feel free to call us at 1-800-LAVEL.